If you've ever struggled communicating with your worship ministry, this could help you. It's hard enough to oversee a group of people and schedule a team for a worship service, but the challenge is to get them all on the same page. Our Weekend Wireframe literally does just that. In this video, we'll put together all the different pieces that we've talked through into our Weekend Wireframe that will give you a simple tool to put it all together for your next worship service. Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm a worship ministry coach who helps worship leaders just like you overcome their obstacles to fulfill the vision that God has given to them in life and ministry. You know, communication is such a huge part of leadership. So the goal of this exercise is to curate all the information for your next service and worship set all into one place. And that is what our Weekend Wireframe does. So let's jump right into it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the Weekend Wireframe to download at worshipministrycoach.com under the How to Make a Worship Set course. And once you've downloaded it, you can start in the top left corner where you simply want to write in the date. This is to clarify what service that you're creating the wireframe for. Next, we're going to jump to the top right side, which is where your cheat sheet lives. As you can remember from a few lessons ago, the cheat sheet is meant to be a starting point. So when you're approaching a weekend, you can just fill out the cheat sheet right here within the wireframe to create your worship set. And what that will do is it will give you a launching point in creating the actual worship set for your service. Right underneath the cheat sheet is the flow section. Once again, you can remember from a few lessons back. You want to fill out your flow section directly into the wireframe to think through the different aspects of your next service. That's what the flow filter does, is it helps you put together all the elements of this service so that you're taking that congregation on a clear path from start to finish. So directly under the flow section is the speech section. Once you've had the opportunity to get a sense of the direction your service is going, you can think through things with the speech method and use this section of the wireframe to write in what you plan to speak during the service. Not only does this help you think through what to say, but it also helps your team to know, which helps them to carry it out within the context of the service. Now, to the left of the speech section is what we call the givens. Any service that you're planning for has a certain number of things that just have to happen. These things are the givens. So every worship service will likely need some sort of greeting, announcements, offering, whatever different things. Probably there's going to be a message at some point. And this section is here to think through those elements and what needs to happen aside from the worship set that helps you create the flow of the service as a whole. So once you've filled out this section, you're now ready to put it all together into your timeline for your service, which is the last section. So above the givens section, you'll find the timeline where you can pencil in how the service will flow from start to finish. And I would literally recommend using a pencil because you may need to make adjustments as you think through the elements and how they might best fit together. Write in the givens when you think they would best fit with what songs that you've decided on. And then try to think through how each element will transition from one to the next. The timeline will be the primary agenda that the team will follow to make sure everyone's all on the same page in the service. So fill it out as much as needed to create the clarity that you need for everyone involved. Now, I recognize there are lots of different tools like this out there. You may already have some sort of a worship planner that you use, like Planning Center or something like that. And that's fine. If so, you can use the Weekend Wireframe simply as a draft tool to think through some of the elements. Instead of writing it all on this timeline, you could simply just finalize it in Planning Center or whatever planning tool you have that your team uses. The wireframe certainly doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. It's simply meant to be a tool to help you think through all the different elements to get your team on the same page. So in short, use this however you find to be helpful for your ministry. So that's our Weekend Wireframe. If you work through all these different exercises when you're creating your next worship set, I guarantee you, it will help you process through your next service to be more efficient and effective in creating it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. The Wireframe and other resources like this are found at worshipministrycoach.com under the How to Make a Worship Set course. Join us in our final lesson of this series as we look at our evaluation process coming up next. Thanks a bunch for watching. We'll see you next time.